Oscar de la Hoya has just dropped the hammer on Jake Paul and he's blazing with fury. The Golden Boy is absolutely livid with Jake Paul. And let me tell you, the accusations are explosive. We're talking fake fights, cheating, and a lawsuit so big it's going to shake the boxing world to its core. This isn't just any accusation, it's Oscar, the freaking legend, the voice of the sport, calling Jake out. Every word he says carries weight, and right now that weight is crushing Jake. The cat's out of the bag and it's filled with fraud, as Oscar himself put it. This is the biggest stain this sport has ever seen. The fight world is on fire. Oscar didn't just throw shade. He launched a full-on missile at Jake's reputation. We're talking about one of the biggest names in the sport here, straight up accusing Jake of being a fraud. Now the boxing world has been seeing right through the YouTuber-turned-boxer's facade for quite some time now, but after Oscar's latest verbal smackdown of the problem child, every fan, every sponsor, every athlete is looking at Jake with new eyes. This isn't just a scandal, it's a seismic shift in the entire landscape of the sport. And the worst part, we're all just along for the wild ride. Alright, let's break this down. Jake Paul just fought Mike Perry on July 20th, right? A brutal back and forth battle that ended with Jake getting the KO win in the 6th round, 3 knockdowns, a dominant performance, the whole 9 yards. On paper it looked like a career-defining win for Jake, a statement to the world, but Oscar just dropped a bomb bigger than any of those punches. He's claiming that Jake's camp was in cahoots with the referee. Can you believe this? Oscar saying that Jake didn't win fair and square. He's saying Jake bought the win. This isn't just an accusation, this is a full-on expose. Oscar said there were talks, money exchanged, and a deal made to tilt the fight in Jake's favor no matter what happened in the ring. We're talking about a fixed fight, guys. Jake went from being the Golden Boy to the potential biggest villain overnight. I mean, imagine the implications of this. If it's true, Jake's entire career could be in jeopardy. Sponsors are going to run, fans are going to turn, and the trust in the sport as a whole is shattered. And let's not forget, Oscar didn't pull any punches with his accusations. He's calling Jake out directly, painting him as a fraud. This is a nuclear bomb, and the fallout is going to be massive. Oscar is not pulling any punches here, folks. He's going for the jugular. This isn't just a jab, it's a knockout blow. He's painting Jake Paul as a fraud, a cheat, and someone who's built an entire career on a house of cards. Let's be real, Jake's opponents, a mixed bag of washed-up MMA fighters like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley. And then there's the whole NBA experiment with Nate Robinson. Don't get me wrong, those guys are tough, but they're not professional boxers. It's easy to look good when you're fighting guys who are out of their element, but then you have Tommy Fury, a real boxer, a guy who actually grew up in the gym. And what happened? Jake got his first loss, a brutal loss. It was like a balloon popping. All the hype, the bravado, it all went up in smoke. So while Jake's been busy calling himself the best boxer in the world, the reality is that he's been cherry-picking opponents. And now with Oscar shining a spotlight on the potential corruption, it's like the whole house of cards is about to crumble. Jake's upcoming fight is just another proof of him cherry-picking his opponents. Yep, I'm talking about the highly anticipated Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight set for November 15th, 2024, and Jake Paul trying to climb the ladder through Mike Tyson. It's not a good look. Now let's talk about this Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson mess. On paper, it's a disaster waiting to happen. You've got Jake Paul, a guy with a handful of fights under his belt, facing off against Mike Tyson, the freaking Iron Mick. It's like putting a kid in the ring with a grizzly bear. There's no way to sugarcoat this. It's a terrible matchup. On one side, you have raw power, speed, and reflexes honed to perfection over decades. On the other, you have youth, bravado, and a decent right hand. Age is a cruel mistress in boxing. It robs you of speed, reflexes, and endurance. It's not that Mike Tyson is weak. He's still a force to be reckoned with, but even the greatest fighters succumb to the ravages of time. Here's the thing, Mike's 58 now, and that's not a number you can ignore. He's going to be slower and sluggish in the ring no matter how many hormone replacements he takes. Don't get me wrong, the man is a beast. I mean, he's called the baddest man on the planet for a reason, right? But let's not forget that he's not the boxer who became the youngest heavyweight champion anymore. His body simply won't be able to keep up with his mind anymore. Now the hype around this fight is absolutely insane. Bets are flying, fans are losing their minds, and even Netflix is getting in on the Action, it's like the whole world is holding its breath for this one, but let's be real, this is a clown show. Oscar called it right, and I got to agree with him. Oscar has always had strong opinions on this matchup and all the hype surrounding it. He appeared on the MMA Hour and spoke brutally about Paul and the fight in general. I actually like Jake Paul for what he's doing and the attention he's bringing to the sport, but he also talks about being a world champion and taking it seriously. Well, this is not serious. The only critique I have for Jake Paul is that if you want to take the sport seriously, then take the route world champions take. That's how you gain the respect of the fight fans, not fighting Tyson. I think Mike Tyson at Jake Paul, look, it's one of those fights where again the world's going to watch, it's going to create. And if you thought Oscar's verbal smackdown of Jake ends here, think again. This guy is coming for the problem child like no other. Yeah, Oscar is straight up exposing Jake Paul is the fraud he is. It's crazy how this guy Oprah operates when he's not picking on guys who are way out of their league. He's bending the rules to give himself a massive advantage. Let's talk about that Mike Perry fight. Jake made Perry fight at 200 pounds, a weight class Perry had never even been close to before. The dude had to bulk up quickly, which slowed him down and made him an easy target for a bigger guy. And guess what? Jake came in way over the weight limit. Some reports say he was like 2 at 20 pounds, so not only did he make his opponent fight outside the comfort zone, but he also had a huge weight advantage. It's like fighting with one hand tied behind your back. This isn't boxing, it's rigged matchmaking. Oscar is calling it out. And it's about time someone did. Look, Oscar de la Hoya isn't just some random guy hating on Jake Paul. This is a boxing legend, a guy who's been in the trenches and who knows the sport inside and out. He's the voice of the old guard, and when he speaks, people listen. He's not pulling any punches. He's dissecting Jake's career piece by piece, from his opponent's selection to his fight contracts. Oscar's laying it all bare. This isn't personal hate, it's a genuine concern for the integrity of the sport. When someone of Oscar's caliber calls you out, it's a big deal. Oscar de la Hoya is absolutely tearing into Jake Paul, calling him out as a total fraud. I mean, this guy's built his whole career on hype and carefully selected opponents. It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He's good at self-promotion, no doubt, but when it comes to actual boxing skills, let's just say there's room for improvement. Jake Paul wants to be seen as the next big thing, but the truth is he's more like a flash in the pan. He's picked on retired MMA fighters and basketball players, but where's the real competition? If he's serious about proving himself, he needs to step up and fight someone who's actually in his weight class and knows how to box. Until then, he's just a guy with a big mouth and a lucky streak. Now this is about to get really ugly for Jake Paul. He's living in a bubble right now, think he's untouchable, but the truth is this whole house of cards is about to come crashing down. Not only is Oscar calling him out for cheating and manipulating fights, but there's also this whole steroid rumor swirling around. The dude's bulking up like crazy for the Tyson fight. It's like he's trying to become the Hulk or something. I mean, have you seen his body transformation? It's insane, and Oscar's not afraid to point it out. If these accusations persist, Jake could face serious consequences. I'm talking about lawsuit, suspensions, and a complete blacklisting from the Mike Tyson. Especially won't take this lightly. The guy has built his entire career on the integrity of boxing. If Jake is caught cheating, Tyson could sue him for hundreds of millions of dollars. It would be a career-ending blow for Jake. If Jake's been cheating, he's about to learn a hard lesson about karma. Not only will his reputation be in tatters, but his bank account is going to take a massive hit. This could be the biggest downfall in boxing history. So Jake, if you're listening, clean up your act before it's too late. So what does Jake Paul need to do to earn some real boxing credit? Here's the recipe. Ditch the social media stunts, the celebrity matchups, and the carefully curated opponents. Step up to the plate and fight the top contenders in your weight class. Show us you have the dedication, the skills, and the heart to go the distance against the best of the best. That's how you earn respect, that's how you become a champion, and that's how you silence the likes of Oscar de la Hoya. So there you have it, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on Oscar dropping the hammer on Paul? Make sure to fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.